I'm an outdoors host. I'm sorry, but it's just beautiful. Like in the summer, the gardens, we've got apple trees in our gardens. I love the themes. I love the creativity, the process. I've seen this one where they have like spring onions and they pour water into the spring onions and then pop a flower in there. I'm like, that's so cool. Yeah, I would really love to have someone like that on my table. Like just their perspective on life, their inspiration. I'm not being funny, but I'm not having like six solemn people just sitting around the table. I wanted to change my dining table so that it fits more people, and it was not agreeable in our household.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Tables to Talk About, and the final one of season 2. It has gone so fast, I can't believe it. We have saved a really good one for last. Today, I spoke to Mako Ndoro, founder of London's go-to grazing company, Brie, who curate delicious and creative bespoke catering solutions for events, gatherings, and celebrations. Mako and I have been friends for a while now. Whenever we meet up, we end up losing hours to chat about all things business and hosting. She's equally passionate about bringing people together to share experiences round a table. So hopefully you enjoyed this one as much as we enjoyed recording it. If you enjoyed this series of the podcast, I will love you forever if you take 2 teeny seconds to rate or leave a review for us so that we can continue getting the best guests on for you when we come back for season 3. It really does make a huge difference and I would really, really love it. Let's get into the episode. I feel like this is going to be a good one because whenever we chat, we just like go on and on and on and on and on.
Exactly, and then it's probably going to get to 2 hours. No, not really, but yeah, we'll try to keep it condensed.
Yeah, we'll try our best. Last time we met up for coffee, it was supposed to be like an hour and we met at like 11 and then it was like 2:30 or something when we left. So time just whizzed by.
But that's a good thing though. It shows that we're having fun. So
yeah, totally. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I feel like we've been trying to organise this for ages.
yeah, no, thanks for having me.
Do you want to start by telling us a bit about what you do and how you got into it?
Sure. So I run a grazing table company in London. We curate platters, tables, and all sorts of gifts and experiences for those that love great food, conversation, and yeah, I think that's probably just in a nutshell. It's very hard to explain further than that, but basically we're a caterer in London and we provide creative catering experiences.
How did you get into it? I mean, I know how you got into it, but for the listeners.
So I started in 2018, but it was just, I think it kind of came through just my love for hosting. And I was on Facebook, Instagram, as we all do back then, which is very different to what it is now. And yes, I basically started just creating platters and grazing boards for socials. And then someone looked at my platters and was like, "Can I have it for my event?" And I was just like, "Oh, really?" and then and then yeah, I did that for that event, and then it just kind of rolled over month after month, and before you know it, I had a business. So that's how it started. But in reality, it was kind of like juggling that with full-time childcare and going back to work for like a good 4 years. And then 2 years ago, it was like full on full time, which it was before, to be fair. It's just that I didn't want to let go of my full time career because I was really scared to jump into the world of business.
Whirlwind.
Yeah. I like that terminology. Yeah, whirlwind, roller coaster, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's crazy fun and exciting.
Yeah, I mean, we've had lots of chats about COVID and running businesses and starting businesses, and I think whirlwind is definitely a good way to describe it. Like almost like you block out parts of the journey that you're like, I don't really know how we did that, but yeah, still
Exactly.
here.
Exactly that. And then you get somewhere in another place and you're like, oh, we've landed here. Yay. But I love it.
Mhm.
Get to meet new people all the time, catered for so many incredible brands. And it's not just the brands, it's also the people that you meet, the events that you cater for, special occasions, weddings. And it's so funny that a lot of my followers and community are people that I've catered for their weddings like 6 years ago or 5 years ago. And then you're like seeing, oh my gosh, they've got their third baby now. And then I now do their baby showers. And it's just really nice. Really enjoy that. It's just like a big community that I've created over the last few years, which has been really nice.
I think we have like quite similar businesses in that respect. Like we're in the same circles and we work in the same things, but So today we're going to be talking about your dream dinner party. I know that you love to host, so I'm excited to hear about your plans for this. Why do you like being the host? Why do you like hosting?
I love the process and the creativity and like all the planning and the lead up to it. But on the day, like after I finish hosting, I just sit on the sofa and I'm like, wow, that's a lot. It's been a lot. It's almost, I don't know how, it's fun, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, why do I do this to myself? Like really, I think I find the process of creating what I have and then like the tablescape and the pictures and the, oh my gosh, this is lovely. I don't know if you get that as well, Callie, where
Yeah.
you're like gearing up to something and then you're going for it and you're like the last hour I'm like running around and like put this here
Yeah.
and we need to put this out, and then I'm just like
Mhm.
wow, and then when the guests, I only really settle down when everyone's sitting at the table and I'm like, oh, we'll come together, like it's lovely, and everyone's like, it's so
Yeah.
nice, and inside of me I'm just like, oh, okay, like just worrying about things. But yeah, I just love that part, the process. Yeah.
I think I'm the same. Like, I think the nature of like what I do is like it's all about the run up and the build up and the prep. That when I actually host myself, I'm like, oh, and now I have to stay for this part. Like, I'm like used all my energy in the prep because for events, I'm there all day. I do all the setup. I have done all the prep work, the inspo, the concept, everything up until that point, and then usually I'm like, peace out when the event starts. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
I'm a bit all over the shop when I'm hosting at mine, but then I think that's why I naturally fall back into like a casual setting when I'm hosting, because otherwise it's too much.
I have my moments. Sometimes I do like the formal-ish
Mhm.
setting because I do like really intimate and like, yeah, like deep conversations. So, and then there's times where it's more casual and I'm like, no, I don't want the stress. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just love, I love the themes. I love the creativity, the process, all of that.
Yeah, so fun. Set the scene for us. Where are you going to be hosting your dinner?
I'm an outdoors host.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but it's just beautiful. Like in the summer, the gardens,
Mhm.
we've got apple trees in our gardens. So like the backdrop is just beautiful. You've got
Amazing.
apples hanging and just trees, scenery, and I just love like candles and lanterns, that kind of vibe. So outdoors, it's just really
Mhm.
cute. But then, the British weather only really allows this like twice a year.
Yeah.
Or in my lounge. So I've basically like set up my dining table in my lounge, and that's where it's like
Mhm.
semi formal.
I mean, I would always host outdoors as well. I mean, it's your dream, so it will be sunny. It will be the perfect weather that you need it to be. We can arrange that.
But then like I just don't like that anxiety planning an outdoor event in British weather because I will
Yeah.
just be checking and refreshing BBC weather for like the
Yeah.
whole week or 2 weeks or three. And then it keeps changing and I'm annoying my husband like, oh my gosh, it's now saying it's cloudy. And then, oh, there's 40% chance of rain. Like, yeah, anxiety.
Well, there's no anxiety here. We're leaving the anxiety
I
somewhere
mean,
else,
which
would
part
say.
of the UK are you living in? Because where I am.
No, this is your dream dinner. We don't have to worry about weather
Okay,
forecast.
okay,
We can
yes.
just
All right.
decide.
So the weather is at least like between 23, 25. That's
Nice.
nice. Where you don't have to wear
Perfect.
a cardigan as such, and
Hmm.
then maybe like in the evening, but it's just perfect. It's not too hot. We don't want flies everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Flies are the worst. Okay, so talk me through the table. What are you going to be doing?
So I'm a very lots of color and mismatch and patterns. So
Hmm.
a good mix of like different types of patterns. So checks clashing with florals, and then color not bright and bold, but popping. That's like my vibe. You kind of have like neutral tones, but then pops of colors. I really like the trend at the moment of like vegetable and fruit centerpieces. Like that's just incredible. It's like amazing. And then with flowers in it as well, like just because why not? I've seen this one where they have like spring onions and they pour water into the spring onions and then pop a flower in there. I'm like, that's so cool. It's things that some people just like, why do you find that interesting? I love it. It's so cute. So yeah, I'd have like a good mix of that on my table.
Nice. Are there any specific colours you would gravitate towards?
I think naturally I am oranges, pinks, greens, and hints of blue. Yeah. I mean, that's my brand
Nice.
colours and also my wedding colours. And just, I realised that I started styling my kitchen in that way. And then my husband was like, no, we're not doing that. He was like, not everything, not
Hard
everything.
relate. Hard relate. People are always like, you're so on brand. And I'm like, this isn't just the Studio Dine branding. This is just me. Like, same. When you said wedding and kitchen, I was like, yeah. And living room and bedroom and
And wardrobe, because I just
everything,
naturally
wardrobe.
gravitate to that. Like, my wardrobe is just naturally pinks, oranges, greens, blues. That's so weird, isn't it? Really?
You're like a warm tones, and I'm like blues, greens, purples, all the
Yeah,
cool tones.
exactly.
Even
Yeah.
my nail, I've just noticed even my nails.
Naturally, I'd gravitate to that, but I would jazz it up, not have the same thing all the time. It would. I've noticed that I still end up having the same tones, but it's just a different theme in some way. But then, there's times where I'm like, okay, let's go a bit different and go like, Greek yellows and blues. Like it's fine for the occasion.
Nice. Do you have specific things that you pull out for dinner parties? Specific things you've collected over the years?
So I'll be honest with you, I stopped collecting before COVID because there's no dinner parties. More recently, I really like interesting serving dishes. So for me, like I like everything else to be quite like round shaped and linear plain or whatever, but then the serving dishes, I like them to be very interesting. So it could be like a cabbage serving bowl and or a bowl with like marbling effect and like just pulling in the colors from the tablescape theme. I really love that look. And then also
Hmm.
I just love like wood finishes. I just feel like it just
Hmm.
always balances out all the color when you're having like a
Hmm.
salad, and then you've got like loads of color going on the table. I just feel like it neutralizes it and just looks really nice.
Cool. We've set the scene. Who are you going to invite?
One dead would be Maya Angelou. Yeah, I would really love to have someone like that on my table. Like just
Hmm.
their perspective on life, their inspiration, and yeah, just to be enlightened by that. I would love something like that. That vibe. Yeah, when people are sitting, have you ever had it when people are sitting at dinner table and they're just eating and they're just like, and it's like almost this like, you can feel that people are taking in all this wisdom. I just love that moment at dinner
Yeah.
table. And then it's stuff that like sticks in my head for years, and I'm like, oh yeah, do you remember when we were sitting at the table and we like this person explained this? Or I just love those moments. So definitely her. Fictional. This is a really like weird one and so random, but I think I would do. I actually wrote it down. Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables.
Oh yeah. 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 Not for a long time. I watched it when I was quite young, I think.
She's just that girl at the party that's just so offbeat. I don't know how to explain it, but like, like there's always that person, or you would hope for there to be that
Mm.
person that's just themselves, is offbeat and just naturally funny, but then
Yeah.
also gets people thinking, like, are you okay? Yeah, like, definitely, I would love that just to like jazz things up. Like she's like the BFF that just brings the party in such a natural but quirky way. So like yeah, and you're on my
Yeah.
table.
No. So random, but love it.
It is so random because I was like, do you know what? I actually just want someone who's a vibe, but like so down to
Yeah.
earth, and she's just
Mhm.
that. So
Mhm.
yeah, she'd probably like make us think of the most random things at the dinner table, and yeah, one of those people where people are like sipping their drink, like, did you just say that? And then someone alive would probably be Michelle Obama to like balance things out, but also bring some fun. So I think
Yeah.
she complements both sides where she can have a laugh but also
Mhm.
be really inspirational. So yeah,
Yeah.
when I have guests over, I actually do think about the vibe that they bring. Do you do
Mhm.
that?
Yeah. I mean, to some extent, but I'm also like, yeah, whatever, we'll figure it out.
I mean, is that
But
vain?
I do think it's important.
People are like, oh, so who do I fit into when I come to your dinner party? I'm not being funny, but I'm not having like six solemn people just sitting around the table.
Yeah.
It just be like, so how was your week?
Yeah, absolutely zero chat.
Be balanced. I mean, yeah, I think my friendship groups nicely balance that out anyway. It's not calculated, by the way. It is natural friendships, guys. But yeah, like I do think about this a lot when I'm hosting parties. And also where
Yeah.
they sit as well, because you can't really have like, especially if they don't know each other, I just don't really put like people that are less chatty all together.
You've got to spread people out where you think they're going to have natural conversation.
I've been to parties where people don't think about these things, and that's what makes me ick with hosting. But anyway,
Yeah.
the little details. And then the last person, yeah, I've said all the people. I
Yeah,
have said
yeah,
everyone.
yeah. Yeah, I think they'd be a very interesting mix.
Yeah, no, I love a good conversation at a table. A good mix of educational, intelligent questions and conversations, bit of
Hmm.
Russian, and then humour all in one. Good balance.
Okay, so what are we going to be eating and drinking at your dinner?
Thing is, when it comes to hosting, I'm not like typical. I'm so random. Like, it could be a Greek, okay, I do try it. Like if it's a Greek inspired theme, for example, which I love at the moment, loving it. Love the whole Greek thing going on at the moment. If I'm just hosting, I'm so random. Like, I'm gonna have probably an Italian inspired starter and then just go Caribbean for the mains and then just traditional British for the dessert. Like, it just never. I just like that because I hate it being so I don't know, like, when you just know, like, okay, if it's going to be Italian, it's definitely going to be this one thing. But what I would
Yeah,
have for my dinner party, let's say if I'm hosting it this weekend, I wrote this down. I think I'd have a cheese platter if I was hosting this
yeah,
weekend because it would bring, especially when you've got people that don't know each other, it brings like conversation and you're forced to talk like, oh,
yeah,
can you pass me this, please? What's your
yeah,
name? You know what I mean? Like, and then you're talk,
yeah,
like you're like you
yeah.
have to have conversation, and then it's almost like a food icebreaker. I've always noticed at parties, whenever you have anything that's sharing, it kind of like just naturally breaks the ice without you having to do an icebreaker of
Totally.
sorts. And then for the mains, what did I? Okay, I've had to write this down. I'd have a Caribbean roast dinner, jerk chicken,
Mhm.
and then rice and peas. And this is just because I
Mhm.
had this from a restaurant in, I don't know if you know it, in Herne Hill. Oh, it was
What's
like
it
it's
called?
like sensational. Maroon. Have you been
Oh
there?
no, I've never been there.
So good. Like, I've had
Okay,
roast dinners, but this was one of the best that I've had. And it was
I'll
this
add it to the
Caribbean
list.
Latino fusion. So that's what it is. And it's
Mhm.
like jerk chicken, just everything that you have with a roast dinner, but like it was just to perfection. Like, where you're just like, oh, huge portion. Yeah, I'm a very big foodie. So when you're at my table,
Mhm.
you're going to eat. You're going to eat.
Yeah.
It's like huge portions.
There's nothing worse than being at a dinner party where you're like hungry though.
The way I grew up, when you have people over, and this is what I find really hard, and I feel like people from an African background will really understand what I'm saying. When you go to someone's house, it's always a buffet, it's always a banquet. Like,
Yeah.
so my mum would be like, oh, we're having guests over in 3 hours. We will have like 6 to 7 dishes, I promise you. Like, and she'll be like, oh, let's do a little bit of cauliflower cheese. Oh, let's have some roast potatoes. Oh, let's do a coleslaw. Oh, we need a leafy green salad. Yeah, it's like even when she comes over here and then she knows that people are coming over, she's like, oh, but have you done a leafy salad? I'm like, no, we've got coleslaw. It's fine. And she's like, no, I'm going out to the shops to buy some leafy salad. I'm like, I'm like, this is why I'm the way I am. It's you. And like, yeah, my sisters are always like, no,
I
it's
see it
fine.
now.
Yeah. So I've had to like try to like, because I don't, it's not nice to be overwhelmed, but it's really hard to like, even if we're doing a roast dinner, I'll end up having like 4 to 5 different roast veg instead of just like
Mhm.
carrots and parsnips. Because I just have it in me
Yeah.
that people need to like be fed,
Yeah.
but then it's actually
Mhm.
overly fed. And then for dessert, I've got
Nice.
two. I'll give people an option because I'm also an options person. So whenever you come to my house,
Nice.
I like to give people options. Again, like I'm saying, just we never serve one dessert at my house. Like, there's always an option.
Mhm.
So it would be apple and cinnamon tart. I love apple desserts.
Yeah.
Like, I love
Mhm.
anything that's like a hot apple dessert. You've got me.
Apple would never be my go-to unless it's like crumble and it's got loads of crumble.
Really? Yeah, for me, I
Yeah.
have to have like like that short crust or shortbread or like
Mhm.
anything crunchy with it in a
Yeah.
shape or form. So it could be like a tart but it just has to have that. Like, I love a good tiramisu, and I'm sorry, but mine is like hands down the best recipe. It's not mine, but I found it ages ago, and I actually can't remember who it was
Mhm.
from, but it's just amazing. Like, I just love a good tiramisu, I feel like it's a love or hate relationship with people. They either really like it or don't.
I'm not a tiramisu gal.
But I make it really chocolatey. So I've been told that.
Yeah, okay, so maybe I would be a tiramisu gal for you.
Yeah, because I'm like, let's put a little bit of coffee, just a little bit, loads of chocolate. Apparently, it's not like the authentic one, but oh, actually, I've got 3 desserts down. A hot chocolate pudding. If I was to have more than 15 guests, there's like 2 or 3 pudding options, 100%. And also mains as well.
I think it's nice when you've got options and people are like, oh, I'll have a little bit of that one and a little bit of that one together. That's the best.
I was trying to be really like specific with the mains. Like it would have been a buffet, but let's just stick to a roast dinner.
Yeah, nice. Well, I don't think people will go hungry. What are you going to be drinking?
So I love my guests to have a mocktail or a punch. I prefer a punch, so I always like to make a good punch that people is always in the corner. And it's almost like a punch station. I love this. And like people just serve it throughout the whole event. So a punch bowl, like a really big one. It's also a African Caribbean thing.
What do you put in your punch?
So it's normally non-alcoholic and it's definitely got to have like a ginger kick or be some kind of like tropical flavor. I have tried like a mojito type one before. It actually went down really well. But it has to be like tropical flavors.
Nice.
Yeah, the things that I kind of change in there is either coconut or ginger, just like depending on the vibe, but you've got to have a bit of kick.
So would you have any alcoholic beverages or you'd just be going purely non-alcoholic?
I think I'd go purely non-alcoholic, yeah.
Nice. And then just punch throughout the evening.
The punch does steal the show. I need to make you one of these because when you taste it,
Please.
it's like honestly, it's like with ice and everything, like that's all you drink.
I bet in the sun as well.
Because you mix like herbs, fresh fruit, you mash some of like the garlic and not garlic, sorry, ginger. Can you imagine garlic?
You lost me.
No, I'm thinking of the main meal prep. Get a ginger and yeah, mashed pineapple as well. Really good. Ginger beer often works a punch.
Nice.
And then there's just these like specific drinks and additions that are actually really, really tasty. This does taste better with like, okay, now it's our dream dinner. It would probably be in a country with really good fresh fruit. Sorry, UK, but yeah.
Yeah, nice. I think the beauty of a punch as well is you can like kind of throw it all in and like generally is like you don't have to measure anything. It's like fine.
Yeah, you can make it pretty. So that's why I said you make a station of it. And like what I like to do sometimes is have like specific glasses or glassware. And the thing I love doing at the moment is like, and I'm looking forward to do this in the summer, is just frozen flowers and ice. Just like it needs to look pretty and like, oh yeah. And just like for the actual tables like area, just have like the whole pineapples and whole fruit surrounding it, just giving that vibe.
And then entertainment, are you gonna have any?
Yeah, I love music. So I'm a musical person at heart. I was in a choir from the age of, how old was I? 8? 9? Yeah, I stopped just before I went to uni. But yeah, I was in a choir for a very long time, very musical, come from a musical family. I'm a singer. So music is like a part of my life. I listen to music like every single part of my day. I would definitely want music, but I don't like actual songs. I like instrumentals, and they've got to have like a nice beat, like a nice tempo, but just not too fast, like mid-tempo, jazz, fusion type instrumental. And if it's live music, since this is our dream dinner party, I would have like light drums, kind of cymbals, light piano.
Do you have a go-to with me? Like, do you have a playlist or something specific you put on?
Yeah, it's normally from musician friends that like when they're doing like their musical session and then it's like instrumental. I love instrumentals, especially like if I'm just cooking. I just find it really relaxing and also it sets a tone that feels vibey, but it's not like overpowering and people aren't like then distracted.
And then, other than music, are you gonna be doing anything else at your dinner party, entertainment wise, or are you just gonna let the night?
Oh, I have really been loving conversation cards. I just feel they're so funny. I did buy a set from this company actually, or this small business. I need to remember the name. It's just like gone off me. It's the only thing I didn't write down. Especially when you're having people that don't know each other, I just feel it's just nice for you to share and there are normally questions that you don't ask people at the table, but they're forced to answer it, and you find out really interesting things about people. So definitely a conversation card.
Let me know what the brand is and I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I don't like to do too much or make the dinner party too rigid. I found that the best dinner parties are where things just naturally flow. And then, yeah, at the end, could be a bit of music, a bit of dancing. Depends. It depends on the vibe. Again, it depends on how people, it could get into like a really deep conversation and then no one is in that vibe of dancing or so it depends. But games, I love games as well. I always actually have a stack of games ready. I'm remembering now, not Monopoly.
Imagine if you cracked out Monopoly at the end of a dinner party.
I mean, I do at Christmas.
You're like, and settle in.
You're the dog and you're the hat. Yeah, no, but I always do that at Christmas. Like, we have an annual family Christmas and Monopoly game. Like, it's a must. It's just a ritual that's been there for the last 10, 15 years because I always win. It's just a ritual that's been there for the last 10, 15 years because I always win.
You're the one keeping it going, aren't you? Everyone else is like, let's scrap this now.
They're probably going to watch this and be like, we're not doing this yet.
Like, Mako's just going to win again.
No, I actually lost this year, so yeah, I'm determined to prove myself. But yeah, like Scrabble, like just word games that get people talking. Charades.
Nice. It's always good to have a stack of games to pull from if you need them.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't like to be rigid at dinner parties.
Shall we do some quick fire questions?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sweet or savoury?
Sweet.
Something you always have in the cupboard?
Salt. No, I need salt in my food. I always have ginger. It's a staple for all my recipes. Yeah.
Favourite crisps?
Sensations. Is it sweet chili?
Nice.
They go down well.
Supermarket of choice?
I mix my supermarkets, so sometimes I go to like Aldi, but online it's Ocado, Waitrose.
Takeaway of choice?
Chinese.
What's your Chinese order?
It's really boring, but I like crispy.
People are such creatures of habit with the Chinese. Nobody mixes it up with the Chinese. Everybody knows their order. It's so good.
For me, the chicken has to be super crispy, but sticky in the sweet, sticky sauce. And if it's not crispy, it's not. It has to be crispy, really hot, but still sticky. So it needs to be delivered at the right temperature. It's like the first thing I eat when I open the box. Is it?
Delivery man can't be messing this up.
And then stir fry noodles with it. Like that's my go-to Chinese.
Top 3 herbs and spices?
Chili, basil, and cumin.
Let's do a couple more. If you could only eat one country's cuisine for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Greek.
You're on a Greek hype at the moment.
No, the only reason why I like Greek food is just natural food. So like it's okay. I can actually eat potatoes and meze and like grilled meats. It's fine. Like we're safe. I don't know if I could be like overly specific with like a certain flavour forever.
I mean, the Mediterranean diet, it's such a good one, isn't it, for like day to day?
Yeah, like
it can't really go wrong.
Yeah, whereas I was going to say African food, but it's a bit much. Not every day. No, it's comfort food.
Okay, let's do one more. Best restaurant you've been to recently?
Well, I haven't really been to many restaurants recently, but the one I mentioned, Maroon. I've been to a few good ones, but I think Maroon was really nice. Yeah.
Is that the first time you've been there?
It's the second time.
Good enough to go back.
You know what that means though, don't you? You're like, was it really good the first time? So yeah.
Well, sometimes like I have such a long list of restaurants that I want to try. I'm like trying to work my way through them, but then some you're like, I have to go back immediately. And some you're like, great, ticked it off the list, was delicious, but like I don't need to rush back.
Socials has really made that a lot harder for me because on my saved list for restaurants, it's like insane. And I'm just like, I need to stop. I just need to focus on the list I have. But then I'm like, I don't want to stay not out of touch with what's out there because I need to taste all the good food and good restaurants and like foodie spots. So yeah.
Social media has been like so good for highlighting like so many spots that we may not have found otherwise, but it's hard to know sometimes whether it's like overly hyped or is actually worth the hype until you go.
Or if it was a paid review.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, because I like to hear like authentically, like not all it might be good food, but maybe the vibe is not good. And then sometimes you want to go
Hmm.
there for like a special occasion and you just actually need to go there for lunch, like with a friend.
Yeah.
Like you just need that. So I feel, yeah, it's a bit of an interesting arena.
Okay, well, I mean, let's leave it there. Thank you so much. That was so fun.
Yay. I hope you would join me on the table at my dinner party.
I would love to join you. I'm so excited for like al fresco dining again. Just like there's nothing better than sitting in the garden.
Yeah, I just need to find some really long tables for like outdoor dining. Like, you know, the big wooden ones. That's my dream. Like the long tables, but the really sturdy wooden ones where I'm going to
Mm.
put that. But anyway, you can only dream.
We'll make it work. We'll make it
Yeah,
happen.
exactly.
Whenever we do any hosting outside, it's like, let's attach this table to this table and like bring every chair that we have. It's always a bit of a mismatch, but I think that's kind of the beauty of outdoor.
Yeah, like the look I love is like, you know, those mismatched wooden chairs. I just need to get a collection of them, even from charity shops or whatever, and then when that time comes. I mean, just for like the 1 month of sunshine. But I'd just love to have like mismatched chairs and a big wooden table that seats at least 15 people.
Well, you can have them in your dream.
I wanted to change my dining table so that it's like fits more people, and it was not agreeable in our household because it was like, why do we need a long table? Like, well, for hosting, it's like, no, no, we're fine, like it's okay. The extension is good enough. Like it doesn't need to
Yeah.
actually sit more people. So that's my dream. I think if I was to ever have like my dream home would be to have a dining room that is just perfect for hosting, like to the T.
Yeah.
That I've already literally got a whole Pinterest board on that. But yeah, that's for another day.
Love that. Don't we all? Oh, well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me today. It was so fun.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone will love hearing about your dream dinner. Do you want to let people know where they can find you if they don't follow you on socials already?
Yeah, sure. So if you want to see my face, see business, it's Berry and Brie. So Berry the fruit and Brie the cheese. So yeah, that's on Instagram, TikTok, www.berryandbrie.com for any events and catering.
Gorgeous. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Tables to Talk About. If you enjoyed it, I'd absolutely love if you would subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps people find us and allows me to get the absolute best guests that I can for you. If we've inspired you to get hosting and you fancy yourself some playful tableware or you need help setting the scene for an upcoming event, you can follow us at Studio Dine on socials or check out our website studiodine.com for more. I'll see you next time.